Hello, this is Emeku Gwonye speaking. I'm going to dabble into a topic which will surprise many of you, or maybe not. That topic is about relationships between man and woman, be it in marriage, husband and wife, or just a relationship between boyfriend and girlfriend. When you do the same thing over a period of time, you're able to develop patterns and structures, and you get to know how things work. You get to know the nature of tensions and conflicts that could arise from that sort of thing. In this case, relationships between husband and wife. I have listened to complaints from a lot of people. You have no idea how many couples had brought their problems to me, either because they chose to consult me or because the conflict reached a point and they decided to consult, or one of them brings a complaint against the other, like in the case of domestic violence, or in the case of a woman or a man who has decided to divorce his or her spouse. When you deal with these things and you listen to these problems over a long period of time, you're able to understand what is likely to happen under any given scenario. In fact, when I listen to each new case, it fits into certain patterns that you can almost predict what is going to happen next. Tonight, a man called me. He was having a problem with his girlfriend. They are not in the same location, which is very important. And I'm going to come back to this issue when we begin to discover or discuss certain factors to look out for in conflict situations of this nature. So this man called me. He was sad, he was disturbed, he needed some answers, and he needed my opinion. He had a long argument with his girlfriend. What happened? The last time they spoke to each other was Sunday evening. And today now is Tuesday. So the next time they spoke was Monday night. The women, neither of them contacted the other throughout Monday. Each person felt justified in his or her own reason for not contacting the other. The woman was sick, so she thought she was sick and she was excused from contacting him. She wasn't really that sick. She could have called him if she wanted to, but she was waiting for him to call her. He was in a meeting, and he assumed that if she needed anything, she was going to call him, and she didn't call him. So this evening, the woman sent a text message to him. Or rather, last night, the woman sent a text message to him and she said, "Hello, how are you?" And you understand that sort of thing. When your lover sends you a message without any word of endearment, she didn't call you honey, she didn't call you darling, she just sent you that message. Just bland, straight message. How are you doing? So the man sensed trouble. So without answering that question, he tried to offer an explanation why he hadn't been in touch with her. And what did he do? So he basically started off by saying, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I was in a meeting. That's why, I couldn't call you." And the woman shot back. "Oh, yes, you've been in meeting all day since Sunday. Your meeting lasted from Sunday night to Monday night." So you see, she was already not accepting the man's excuse. The man was trying to make an excuse. She was trying to emphasize his fault. It led to an argument and tension. So when the man called me this evening, I asked, or last night, or this night actually, still night, when he called me, I asked him, "Would you like to put me on a three-way phone conference so we can talk to your girlfriend?" He said yes. So he connected his girlfriend, and she came online. And they began to talk to me, each explaining his or her own side of the whole thing. In the end, they were both wrong. They were making some fundamental mistake. And I asked myself, how many other people fail to understand how to do the right thing? How many other people, how many other couples are having similar problems? So let us get these things clear. First and foremost, one thing that creates tension and conflict between couples is distance. When you're far away from each other, you must be conscious of that fact. When you are not together, you should know that your reactions to a problem should not be the same as when you are together. It's a wholly different scenario. When you are together, you can tell the mood of your lover. You can look in her eyes and see she's not happy. And if she's sick or not feeling well, you would know. However, when you are separated by a long distance or distance of any nature, you are not able to make these observations and your reactions might be different. So always be prepared. When your wife or girlfriend calls you from a distant location, you're not together, please be prepared, calm down and listen carefully. Don't assume anything. In this case, the woman felt she was sick throughout Monday. She was sick from Monday morning to Monday night. She wasn't feeling well. She thought that was enough reason for her not to call him. But how would he know you were sick? So then the second thing I noticed couples do a lot, and which happened tonight, is the tendency to maximize or emphasize the fault of your lover. Many people do this, particularly women. They do this. Some people think that the best way to be happy is to fault their partner. So they will spot one thing you did wrong. They will emphasize it. The whole thing is psychological. She's trying to place you in a position where you begin to apologize. Because when you begin to apologize, that places her in a position to be kind and forgive you. So it's a power game, a mind game of sorts. She wants to get an advantage over you. She wants to exert power over you. So she accuses you. She begins to build up. And then you begin to defend yourself. Many women are this way, and some men are this way as well. But the problem is this, or rather the solution is this. Try not to emphasize the fault of your partner. Don't make it your business searching for his faults. And the thing in life is that, you see, we find whatever we are looking for. Whatever you're looking for hard enough, you're going to find it. If you're looking for faults, you'll find thousands of faults. But you got to be balanced. Make sure that you also recognize the good side of your partner. Honestly, can you imagine in the morning your woman has done something very nice? You didn't say anything. You just took it for granted. She did a lot of things nice. He did something nice today. You never said anything. You never complimented him. You never said, oh, honey, this was great. Nothing. Then he does something wrong. And you hammer on it and hammer on it and hammer on it. That creates tensions in your relationship. And it ultimately destroys your relationship. So those of you who make it their business, their special duty, to try to identify, they take torchlight, searching for all faults in their partner so they can emphasize it. That is a problem. Okay, I can give you practical situations. First and foremost, you should make excuses for your lover. Make excuses for him. Assume the best. Whenever he's running late, don't draw the nasty conclusions. Make excuses for him. Assume he was held up. Assume he just couldn't make it. And when he comes in 35 minutes late, maybe you had a lunch appointment, 2 p.m. He was supposed to, or rather, no, lunch, 2 p.m. is too late for lunch. Let's say you had 12 noon lunch appointment or 1 p.m. lunch appointment. He gets there 1:45. What do? And normally, a normal person is going to say, oh, honey, I'm so sorry I came late. I didn't realize that I was, half an hour late. What do? He is actually 45 minutes late. Indeed, he's actually 35 minutes late. But now he described his lateness as half an hour late. What do? You have an option. You can actually make an excuse for him. You can actually, when he says, oh, honey, I am late, I'm sorry, I'm half an hour late. You can say to him, oh, no, darling, don't worry, come on. It's a good time. I actually prefer to have lunch 1:30 instead of 1 p.m. That calms him down. Then you can move to more substantive things. But also you have the other option of saying, oh, no, you always come late. And by the way, you're not just 30 minutes late. You're not just half an hour late. You are more than half an hour late. Yes, she's 35 minutes. It's not 30 minutes. You're more than half an hour late. And you begin to whine, you begin to complain, and you remember all the days he was late, and that's wrong approach. Emphasize a bit of the good thing. before you blame your partner for one thing, make sure you have praised him for two things. I'm sure he did two things that day. Because one thing you have to understand is, if your partner notices that you are going to maximize his faults, he's going to build in some defensive mechanisms that ultimately degrades the quality of your relationship. Let me give you an example. He knows that you will complain if he comes 30 minutes late to an appointment he has with you. So if he's going to meet you by 4, he's not going to tell you he will meet you by 4 p.m. He will say, honey, we're going to meet sometime between 4 and 7 p.m. What nonsense. He can't give you a precise time. Why is he doing that? Because he knows that if he was 30 minutes late, you will kill him. He doesn't want to deal with that. So he gives himself accommodation. He gives himself 3 hours time window for an appointment. But it's impossible for you to plan meetings with your lover based on 3-hour uncertainty. So you got to understand how to make excuses for each other. Like in the case of this woman, she could have called a guy. She didn't. She kept record of wanting to know how long it would take him to call her. Can you imagine that? And many people, when they call their man, they will say, oh, why is it that it's always me calling you and you never call me? That's nonsense. The fact is that if he didn't want to talk to you, it doesn't matter who called first. You know, whether you call or whether he calls, it takes the two of you to talk. If he doesn't want to talk to you, he will not take your call. If he takes your call, depending on how fast he is eager to talk to you. So stop whining on who called first. So many people should really understand, because we come here and we hear your complaints and we receive and we intervene to resolve matters, and it's baffling the sort of things you have, sort of problems you have, because you don't know that when you love someone, it's your duty to make excuses for that person. It's your duty to be emphasizing the great things. She has to be the queen. Oh yes, your woman has to be the queen. She has to be the best of everything. If she gives you a glass of water, praise her. If he does anything nice, praise him. Okay, oh honey, that was so nice. You did this and that. Great. If you praise him 5 times in a day and you blame him once, he can handle it. Home is still home. But what if you never praised him in a whole week, but you have complained so many times and faulted him so many times? That's a problem. And that's why I say to people, if you ask me, the true test of compatibility is this. How many times in a week did you have to apologize to your lover? Or how many times in a day did you have to apologize to your lover? The more you have to apologize, especially if she demanded those apologies, especially if those apologies follow the complaint, the more it happens, the greater we can say you are incompatible. Absolutely. And then another test is, what does your partner say when you apologize? Does she take time to accept your apology? Or does she keep complaining? Or does she say to you, oh, you always apologize? So it is, very careful how these things operate. Okay, so normally you're not supposed to be apologizing so much because your partner is not finding faults in you. And even when you apologize, your partner is supposed to say, oh, come on, honey, don't worry, it's nothing. Oh, come on, it's not, I didn't even notice. Oh, honey, I'm late. Oh, really? I don't quite notice. Even if she noticed, she's trying to make you feel comfortable. She's trying to make you not to apologize. So the more you apologize to your partner, the more you apologize, something is very wrong. Either you are way crazy, weird, or your partner is weird. You are not compatible. Compatible people don't have to apologize a lot. Yes, if you're at fault, you got to apologize, but it's very important. How did you become at fault? And why are you always at fault? So, these things we call fault is essentially because people are not able, they're not compatible. So bear this in mind and think about it deeply in your relationships if you can. If many people could follow these things, my recommendations tonight, we will have less complaints. Everybody has a fault, but most people have more goodness in them than their faults. Unfortunately, we tend to shut our eyes to the goodness of our lovers, but we are sharp-eyed when it comes to their faults. That could be a problem like the one we had this night. I hope you will learn from this and probably improve your relationship. Avoid these problems. Thank you.